Welcome
Pixel.
back, ladies and gentlemen,
Pixel.
to
Pixel.
Operations.
Operation Pixel. Sorry, I'm just trying to be silly.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You
Okay,
wanted to bring something up here.
So back in the background there.
That cave looks like a butthole. Is that what you wanted to say?
So in the background there, there's a tower.
Uh-huh.
And the tower there reminds me of some of the sort of conceptual arts or paintings or something I've seen of the mythical Tower of Babylon.
The Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel, I guess.
Yeah.
Which was the Tower of Babylon.
Uh-huh.
It's a Babylonian Tower of Babel. Anyways, that's besides the point.
The tower that they were trying to build to reach heaven.
Yeah, so I'm actually not sure on that. Like, I know you're a religious man, and I am not a religious man, so I'm not sure on the specifics of the Tower of Babel. But it's kind of cool as a mythological kind of, like, piece.
Uh-huh.
So I'd be curious to hear the story while you play Bomberman.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet, though.
I mean, sure, but you can still talk about it. It gives us something to talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk about something else while we're in the Tower of Babel. We'll talk about something underwater, something in space, or something completely unrelated to the Tower of Babel. Screw the Tower of Babel.
I can't remember which is the good one here.
Those both sound bad.
I think it's the one where you had to blow up the tongue to get rid of the tongue, otherwise you couldn't pass the tongue.
Huh.
I don't remember that one. I'll do the one I remember slightly.
Okay. Blow up the tongue to continue ahead.
Lick a tongue. Ow. Okay, so basically, for my story, is Tower of Babel is people decided that they wanted to reach heaven by building a tower that would reach up into heaven. And so basically we're doing it and building this tower to try and like reach God. And God's like, whoa, that's not cool. so he basically
what I find funniest about this story is that means that maybe they were getting close. He's like, oh crap, I gotta stop.
But yeah, so basically to basically screw them up is he changed the languages, and that's basically where languages came from.
Okay.
Which is he basically made them all talk differently so that they couldn't coordinate and build the tower anymore.
Huh. So that's where the Mexicans came from.
Yeah, pretty much. This is my favorite power, if you didn't see it.
Oh, I missed it.
Watch this. I gotta find a guy.
Uh-huh.
First I gotta blow up this freaking lick-a-tongue. Okay, watch this, watch this. Ha! Pew!
Oh, you can just stun him?
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
I love this power, dude.
I was gonna say, that seems pretty unfair, except, like, this is such late in the game that, like, they had to make enemies that were vulnerable to it, so there might be some enemies later that are not vulnerable to it?
It would have been so nice in that invincibility area.
Where the Egyptian place where you couldn't kill the monsters.
So, basically, as we were talking about that boss last time, it reminded me of something that I was wanting to bring up with you, which I don't know if I ever actually have. With you, specifically. What are some of the hardest bosses that you fought?
Oh, man. Oh. Okay, well, the first thing that came to mind,
Stupid tongue.
in one of the earlier episodes, I was talking about Dragon's Dogma and how much fun I had, because I jumped on an eyeball and started stabbing it, and I was like, yeah, and I clipped the audio, and it sounded terrible, and I, like, apologized to about it, and I think I put in the description of an episode that there was going to be a bad audio moment coming up, and, you know, it was a fun moment, but not great for our audio capture.
Yeah.
But later on in that game, I got to the final boss of the Dark Arisen expansion there, and how can they even kill you now?
Some of them lay bombs later.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, like, if you can just, like, kill them by stepping onto them, their only way to kill you is
I don't kill them.
reverse.
I just make them...
Well, I know, but, like, but that's how they killed you before. So they literally cannot kill you now as long as you poke them.
Which is why the first time I played, I ran into a dude. Like, but when I was practicing, I was showing Oot here this game, and I just
The first thing he did was run right into an enemy. And he's
right
like,
into an enemy.
I thought I could do that.
Now does it make more sense?
A little bit, yeah. If for some reason you thought you had this cool power-up.
Well, also, in the other Bomberman we played, I could run right through
Yeah,
Wario.
yeah. That was definitely the excuse you gave at the time.
But now I remember. Oh yeah, I could run into dudes.
But yeah, Dragon's Dogma, the last boss of the expansion, was like the biggest butt ever. My friend managed to beat him because he was a wizard, and
A big pain in the buttocks.
yes, in the glutes, a pain in the glutes.
Tius Maximus.
So he has like a few attacks that are pretty bad, and a few that aren't so bad. But one of the worst ones is he had this one big attack where he sucks everyone into the middle, and there's nothing you can do about it if you're already in range of it. Like, you just get all your stamina drained, you get tired out, you get dragged to the middle, and then he permanently kills all of your buddies. They're just gone. Then you're alone against the final boss of the game.
You got no Phoenix Down or anything?
Well, normally you can revive them. I think. It's been a little bit. I'm pretty sure you can revive them by, like, you know, a lot of, like, these action games, they have the thing where you run up and, like, press the button to revive them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. It's actually been a little bit. And they didn't usually die on me too often.
Nope.
But,
Get
yeah,
your tongue
just,
back in your mouth.
like, he just vanished them. They weren't in my party anymore. They were just gone.
Demolished?
Yes.
Obliterated?
They were vaporized.
Nice.
And so, basically, if it took me 20 minutes, say, to get down, like, a tenth of this guy's health bar, and then he kills my entire party, it's like, well, great, now I'm alone against the, like, freaking hardest enemy in the game.
Did you beat him?
Eventually, yes. And I think I probably did it alone. But, like, it was entirely just... Actually, I'm not sure if I did beat him alone. Maybe I managed to stun him or something. I forget, but, like, it was not cool. So then the best part is that if you go back to fight him after you've beaten him the first time...
He's stronger?
He's harder. He
Nice.
has a second form after the first form, which is even more broken.
It's like, bro, this isn't even my final form.
Yeah, exactly. That describes it perfectly. It's...
If you beat him that time, and then you go back, and there's a third form.
That'd be great. I actually beat that one too, eventually, but it was, like, the most infuriating, like, couple days of grindy boss battles.
You go back, he, like, morphs into Cthulhu.
It was just not good. And I feel like that's almost a design problem more than it was, like, you know, a difficult boss problem. I mean, I realized that at that point in the game, a lot of the bosses weren't that hard. Or a lot of the enemies. Because, like, characters could get pretty powerful. But, like, having just, like, an almost, like, you know, unmissable full party wipe attack, it's just like, oh, man.
It reminds me of one of my... the bosses that I don't like. Smash Brothers Brawl.
Oh, yeah, Taboo.
Yeah.
He's pretty bad news. He's from the Subspace Emissary, to those who aren't familiar, which is the story mode of Brawl.
Which, kind of sucked. I mean, I'm sure there's ways around it.
Do you mean Taboo sucked?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, actually, I thought Subspace Emissary was pretty good, considering...
No, yeah, it was a fighting game with an actual story.
Yeah, like...
Instead of, oh, I'm gonna go across the country and battle people.
Yeah, considering they had to, like, throw, like, this whole, like,
universe of video game characters.
Like, they had no relation or whatever. It's like, it could have been a lot worse considering what they were trying to do. Most games that have stupid big crossovers like that are awful. Their stories are just garbage.
Yeah, usually.
Usually. So, it's impressive that they got something that was at least mildly amusing.
Uh-oh.
And it had a couple moments where it was kind of cool.
And the whole, Ah!
Nice. Way to kill yourself right at the end.
Ah, with a game over, too.
What's the phrase? Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory?
So, one of the other bosses that I had trouble with, I mean, looking back in hindsight, it's probably not that hard. It's just the area and then... Because it was in an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And, not a very high-level boss.
Uh-huh.
But just the area of the game, no matter what, I always seem to have trouble with her. It was, Tales of Symphonia.
Mm-hmm.
The first time you ever meet Sheena.
See, I don't remember having trouble with her.
I never did on any of the other meetings, because you fought her like 3 times.
Yeah?
It was always the very first time.
Huh.
I always had trouble. I don't know why. Even if I would grind before, and I hate grinding.
Yeah.
But that very first time you fought her, I would always have trouble. I don't know why.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to think, though, of other games.
Like, even the final boss, it wasn't even...
Yeah,
like,
I don't remember almost any of the boss battles in Tales of Symphonia's Heart, except for, like, the optional, like, skeleton dudes.
Or, Kratos. No, not... Was it Kratos?
I think it was Kratos.
The guy that looks like...
The mercenary dude.
Yeah. You could, optionally fight him in the floating city.
Uh-huh.
Like, you gotta get all the summons, it was like a secret one after the end of the game or something. Uh-oh. After, like, the end of the game, you load it up and go back, and then you go to the floating elf city.
Uh-huh.
And, you have the option of fighting him secretly. And he is really hard. I don't think I ever actually beat it.
Well, a lot of games like to have, like, a post-game boss, so, like, if you want 100% it, here's an extra challenge for you, buddy.
And that's a challenge of a challenge.
Let's see, I'm trying to think. I was gonna say Monster Hunter. It's kind of a cheap out, because, like, basically the entire game is boss battles. But, in 4U, there was one enemy called, the Rajang. And that thing was...
Wreck face.
That thing was just a nightmare. Like, everybody joked about it, because it was basically, like, the Dragon Ball Z. Like, it was basically a Dragon Ball Z reference, the thing. Because it was, like, this giant ape creature. And when it got angry, its hair turned golden. And, like, got all spiky, and it had, like, electricity attacks, and it also had, like, this big energy ball that it would throw. It was just like Dragon Ball. And, like, so the whole thing was probably just a straight-up Dragon Ball reference. But that thing was just a nightmare. I mean, part of the problem is maybe that I was playing a greatsword, which is already kind of a clumsy, clunky, slow weapon. And, I mean, I really enjoy the greatsword. I got pretty good at using it. I feel like it's safe to say that I'm not bad at Monster Hunter. That guy is just really hard. And there's, like, a couple missions where, like, I think one of the missions, you had to fight 2 of them at the same time. And it's just basically a nightmare. So...
Nightmare of nightmares? Or just regular?
I don't know. He was hard.
I forgot their stupid little tongue noise when they sucked it in. Yeah, it's like...
But yeah, I did not like fighting the Rajang.
All Looney Tunes sound effects.
I'm trying to remember other bosses now. Like, it's really hard to think back of, like, your entire gaming history and try to think of bosses that you had trouble with.
Yeah. No, dude.
Slow everything down.
Well, not only that, but if the other guy opens his, too...
If only you had shorter bombs.
You hear that?
Yep.
There we go.
Well, you made it.
Yeah,
cool.
Barely. Uh-oh. Bosses?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else. It's really hard when you're put on the spot.
Yeah.
Just to think of all the bosses you've ever killed. So we fought lots of bosses in our day. Also, you say bosses, and I immediately think of, like, things like Monster Hunter, which came to mind. Oh, nice.
Wow. See, I told you I get cocky.
Yeah. A little too fast there.
I'll say next time.
Next time on Operation Pixel?
Yeah, next time on Operation Pixel.
Well, really quick, I was just going to mention the bosses. Monster Hunter and, what's it, Shadow of the Colossus. Games that are both basically 100% boss monsters.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not sure, like, one of the bosses in Shadow of the Colossus was pretty hard. But, I mean, like, none of them were, like... I mean, they were all, like, kind of hard at the time, and then you get better and you beat them all, and then you're just like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad. Anyways, next time on Operation Pixel. More Bomberman.